Good morning, guys. I wanted to give a little bit more of a chronicle. Basically, where I left off last time I was talking to y'all. My mother, like I was saying, was on the verge of bankruptcy, and I realized that I needed to get home. Wasn't really doing anything out in the military, out in Dayton, Ohio. The military was wasting me because they never liked me from the start for whatever reason. You guys can figure that out for yourselves. But they wanted to make it clear that they did not like me. But at the same time, they weren't going to just let me leave. They wanted to imprison me so that I would want to kill myself. Of course, I would never do something like that. But they were trying to push me to it. They're just really bad people, like I was saying before. So I was going through the process of, this thing called palace chase for the military, where you are allowed to finish off the remainder of your active duty commitment in the reserves. And you get to essentially pick where you want to live from that point. And obviously I wanted to go back to California, where my family was. There were a couple bases that were fairly close, and if you're in the reserves, you can essentially choose how much you want to work. If you want to work one weekend a month, or I think it's 2 weekends a month, or if you want to basically just be active duty type hours if they have them available to you, which for the most part reserve units tend to, because they're not usually fully manned. That's what I was going to do. I was going to finish out my commitment in the reserves at either Beale Air Force Base or Travis, get my pilot qualification back, the one that they unjustly stole from me basically in the military, and fly. The intent was to fly KC-10 or the KC-46. Much easier airframe to fly than the RC-135. I wasn't trying to be cosmic about it necessarily, and just because commitments matter. And while the military was definitely not the right fit for me, it probably would have been better going into the medical industry, even though the medical industry is itself very corrupt. As we all know, the people that are getting offed for finding cures to cancer and stuff like that. Yeah, basically everything that the conspiracy theorists say is true, pretty much, but that essentially means that there's nowhere to hide. It doesn't matter where you go. So I didn't really have a good slate of options, if you will. The military just kind of made sense for the purposes that I had told you before. The desire to become an astronaut, as well as serve my country, and just sort of kind of have a warrior spirit, if you will. So it just felt right in that regard, but the military didn't see it the same way. So, c'est la vie. And I got back home to take care of my father, who had 14 strokes, and my mother, who had PTSD and extreme back issues and was struggling to keep her head above water financially. And I just had no reason to be out there. It just made sense. And the timing seemed pretty good too, at least for me. Didn't seem good for the world, I guess, because we went right into the whole CVID thing, the Rona, right around the time frame that I left the military. Think of that what you will. So, yeah, it's strange. It really is. It really is. The amount of hatred that certain people and institutions will have for you for no apparent reason is really flabbergasting. And whatever those reasons are, the reason there's no apparent reason is because they won't tell or show you. Um, even if it's information that you should have, because it's yours, they still won't give it to you. They prefer to keep you in the dark because evil operates in the shadows. It's just the way it is. It's a parasite. By definition, it is a parasite. And I don't think it really cares. It'll lie, cheat, and steal to achieve its ends. That's my puppy. And it doesn't really care. And it's been an incessant attack. I honestly believe that this peripheral vascular disease that I have now is less congenital and more a spiritual attack. I am being oppressed by demonic entities, if you will. That's my personal belief, and I think it's been a similar situation for most of the people in my family. Everybody in this house right now, myself, my parents, my brother, every one of us is broken right now. My brother has a broken hand. I've got peripheral vascular disease. My dad has the strokes and the dementia and the Alzheimer's. My mom has the PTSD and the extreme back issues. Every one of us is broken. And we're kind of just piecing together all the things that each one of us can do to make it so that we can get a complete day accomplished. Like, I'm good with technology. My mom is good with material. My father is able to still walk and move and do physical labor type things, even if he's not consciously all there. And we put it together. It's a patchwork quilt. That's the Pearson family for you right now. And we're about to have somebody else move in here in October, another family member, who is on disability as well. And the reason that we're having them move in is because we want them to have quality of life for however many years they have remaining on this planet. And they'll have quality of life because we will be able to steward them, with their diet, their exercise, their activity, their personal relationships. It'll be with us, and that's what will matter. Because in light of eternity, experiences are important, but they are subservient to the people with whom you actually share those experiences. So I've said it many a time, and it's just as true as it always has been. That's why Jesus didn't care that if he were a king or a pauper. In fact, actually he did, in that he didn't want to be a king on the earth. Instead, he just would much rather break bread with his fellow human beings that lived on the earth at the time, because that's what really mattered. That's where you really connect with people. And whatever has led our family to the situation in which we find ourselves right now, we're making the best of it. And we really have this year. We've had a lot of fun, and we've made a point of it. And while we would love to be able to save and invest the money that we have, because of the difficult situation that we find ourselves in, it is just money that we're going to have, it's flat. The world is basically forcing it to be flat. And, okay, I guess we're just going to have to use it for experiences and be limited in that regard. So be it. So, anyway, to that point, I do believe, and maybe this is the paranoia, maybe it's PTSD, I don't know, but I do believe that whatever happened in the military, they put a bad word in for me in any private sector job. Because while I might be disabled physically, there of course are still jobs that I might be able to do out there, maybe. It's very frustrating to have an electrical engineering degree, a master's, and 1,000 hours of flying experience, and not be able to get a job as a pilot or as an electrical engineer, or any engineer for that matter. And I have applied to numerous through various venues, whether it be LinkedIn, Indeed, ZipRecruiter, in person, through friends, through family. It doesn't matter. Nobody will hire me. Or if they do, they'll treat me like a slave, and they'll hire me for a position that is completely out of... it's either really completely below me, and I'm willing to pick up poop, by the way. I'm willing to go and get paid to pick up dog poop, if I could do it, if my legs would let me. But they won't hire me for that kind of a job, because I would be okay with that kind of a job. Instead, they want to do something that'll cause torture. So they're just very bad people. This world is run by demonic entities, principalities. And the fact that it is still this way, no matter how abundantly obvious you make it to people, almost makes you think that there are a great number of people out there that are cut from a completely different cloth, and it's not a good one. They're just not human, right? It leads you to believe that type of stuff. To see a completely different movie than the one that you are watching, and it's the same movie, is interesting, as Scott Adams says. I don't believe myself to be evil, right? I don't believe my family members to be evil, but we are incessantly attacked. So, anyway, that's what I got for you today. This channel is primarily dedicated to my father. I mean, it's his channel. But it's going to be everybody in my family. Basically, it'll be our legacy. And if YouTube wants to start being a dick again and block even this channel, which is not mine, from success, well, you know what? You guys suck. You guys suck. So this is your chance to not do that. I'll see what you do. Peace.